Good morning, good morning, good morning. I need to put my glasses on. Good morning, everybody. I am joined today by Mr. Wonderful, also known as Leonard Brezhnev, the unibrow.
Genghis Khan, please.
Genghis Khan, whatever. That's Mr. Tom. So we're here with Mr. Tom. Hello, Mr. Tom.
Hey, approaching New Year. Happy New Year, everybody. I probably won't see you again, but Happy New Year.
Probably not. So New Year is coming up, but you know, today is just a really mellow stream. And you know why? Because I feel mellow. I could say I feel pretty, like the song goes. You know the song?
Yes.
From
You feel pretty?
From what is it? West Side Story.
And gay? You feel gay?
No, I don't feel gay.
Yeah, I know the song.
I don't feel that, but anyway, I feel very mellow. And the reason is because, you know, I've hit a milestone, not only with my son, but also for me in my life. And I really just don't want to be stressed about anything, and I don't really feel the need, and I kind of feel like now I'm getting at the age where the best way to be is just as mellow as possible, not let anything get to you, and try to be happy. You know, don't worry, be happy. But, you know, my son recently graduated from university, and so we went. Got myself a nice dirty coffee here. 50% off here at Pakmara. Pakmara is a very good coffee shop. Good morning, Carlos. Happy New Year. Anyway, you know, the other day I went with 2 quarters Korean, and who else was there? Oh, that was it. It was me and 2 quarters Korean, and then my wife and Nicholas showed up for Alex's graduation. That was at the school here. It's on Asok. Sinakarin Wirot. And I thought, okay, well, that's great. Now, you know, he's got his other thing to do, and I just thought, oh, it's no big deal. But it is really a big deal what he went through. And that is that, first of all, Sunday, was it Sunday? Let me see, 23, 25, yeah, Sunday. Sunday, I went with them to a practice session where what they do is they teach the boys and girls, the graduating students, how to proceed and get their diploma from the princess. So I'm not allowed in. Nobody else is allowed in, only the students. So the students went in, I sit there for like 8 hours, which was fine because I kept myself busy. And so he went and did that. Then the next time my wife went, we got, you know, we rented a van each time, and we just went there. And then, you know, she went on Tuesday. Then on yesterday, was it yesterday? I don't know, I think it was Saturday and Monday or something, maybe we went. But anyway, so then the big day comes. This is the day where he gets his diploma. I get there, and there's a lot of people there. I mean, it's 4 o'clock, 4:30 in the morning, and there's just hundreds and hundreds of people. I mean, literally thousands of people. You know, all the parents and friends and, you know, brothers, sisters, everybody. So we sit there, and finally around 6 o'clock he goes in. He's got a 5:30, he goes in. We're waiting for him. I took video of all this where he walks out. He's in, literally all the students are walking, which it has to be traumatic and a huge pain for these students. But they're walking, you know, there's about I don't know, they're about 10 across or so. And so all of a sudden I see a hand go up. It was him. He's waving at me and my wife. We're filming him, take some photos of him. We're excited, not really excited, but it's nice. So he goes in. Then we found the place where you go inside and they have TVs inside, and you're allowed to go in and you can watch the TV and see everybody in the hall, the exhibition hall, the convention hall, whatever it is. They show when the princess shows up, and we go in, we sit there, grab a little food. It's like you're watching TV. And so all the students start going up, and let me just tell you, this is the thing. There's so many students. There's a couple thousand students graduating. There's so many students that you don't get time with the princess. You don't get time to say, hello, your highness, or whatever it is. You don't get any of that. What they do is the women curtsy while the other girl is up getting her diploma. She goes up, gets her diploma, but takes 3 steps backwards, curtsies, and leaves. The men, they bow while the guy's getting his diploma, and he leaves. When he leaves, they walk up, another 3 steps forward, they bow, grab the diploma, 3 steps backwards, bow again, turn around, walk away. So it literally is like 3 seconds. That's all they get. Now, I don't know what the deal is. I don't know. Well, we paid for pictures and video of it, but I took some video because I got a tripod, stuck the phone on the tripod, and filmed when he went up, and it literally is like 3 seconds. So you're wading through thousands, hundreds of kids to make their way up for for the 3-second period that your kid's going up. And then after that, then it's all the friends come together, and they're taking photos, and you're taking photos with the kid, and there's kids and parents that you don't even know, which, I'm not really the kind of person who's real social. Imagine that. So, but this is my friend. I don't even remember who it is. This is my friend. Okay. Yeah, they want to take photos. So then it's like me and my wife and Alex and his friend take a photo. And it's like, move on to the next one, take a photo, move on to the next one. You're taking hundreds of photos. And it's Alex's day. I don't want to be difficult. I don't want to be like, when are we going home? So I wasn't. And what I remember is that it's the one time in his life that he's going to do this. Now, I don't know if they do it for master's degrees. I don't know if they do it, he may get another degree. I don't know. I don't know. Anything can happen. But we'll say this is probably the only time he's ever going to get this. So I was as pleasant as possible. My wife was very happy because she's so proud of him. What is this? Hello, everybody. Good morning. A lot of time spent doing rehearsals for what? Well, there is protocol to be followed when you're approaching the royal family, and when you are, and they want to make sure that nobody screws it up. So when you're, like I said, you bow, you take your 3 steps forward, you put your hand out, you grab the diploma, you take 3 steps back off to the right, somebody else meanwhile is bowing and walking forward, you turn around, And not only that, they show, when you're marching out, they teach them how do you have to march out. Everybody's got to walk in unison. I mean, You know, it's like, it's a long way for what they're walking. I don't understand what the big problem was. And, you know, it's like, to you and I, it would be like, all right, listen, this is what you do. You walk in unison. You try your best to stay in unison with everybody else. You walk into the convention hall. Your seat will be on your paper that we give you or whatever. You take a seat and you shut up. Then when you're called up, everybody walks forward, and that's it. No, he hasn't. He hasn't. But, you know, it may be a little while. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. And, you know, frankly, doesn't really matter. He'll find a job. I'm sure he will. He's working part-time, so, you know, he's fine for now. You know, but that's what they do. And you know, it's kind of like, all right, I understand you don't want the kids to screw up, and, you know, you don't want some kid walking up and going, oh my God, it's the queen, or it's the princess, or whoever it is. You don't want them walking up and doing something, you know, they shouldn't be doing. Well, let me give you a stick of gum, you know. I don't know. So you don't want them doing that. So that's what they rehearse for. I mean, it's 2 days, and I mean, literally, it's hours. But, you know, you have to understand, if you got 2,000 people, each class has, say, 200. I think my son's class only had like 75 people in it, or his major. But they have to get each class, and they go up at a certain time. They allot this much time for each class. It's just, you know, it's red tape. And it's nice, it's done. Now I only got to do it one more time, and that's for Nicholas. He's got another year and a quarter. So, you know, I have a little time to get over this. But it was very nice. And my wife has been cooking. You know, she's taken some time off of work. She's been cooking crab cakes, and we had crab cakes for Christmas. Richard, if you're watching, we had crab cakes. We didn't have ham, but we did have pork chops. We all had pork chops and crab cakes and mashed potatoes. We had homemade mashed potatoes. That was very good. And then what did we have yesterday? We had more crab cakes, mashed potatoes, but there was something else. I can't remember what it is. I don't even remember now. So that tells you where my mind is. But it was very good. The kids there were some leftover crab cakes. They had those. And, you know, then everybody crashed out, because everybody crashed out when everybody's been at home. Nicholas is at home now. I can't believe it. He's been staying with us for a couple days in a row. Usually he's only at the house for like maybe 12 hours, and that's it. We'll say 18 hours, and then he leaves, goes back home. He's out of school right now. But, you know, the thing is that the most important thing that I realized is, first of all, I mean, I knew this, that this is the end of school for Alex, at least, we'll say for now. Maybe he'll go and get his master's degree. I'm not sure. I think we would like him to have a company to help pay the bill, part of the bill, if he can find a place that will do that. But it's the end of his learning in school. Now he's got to go to work and start that part of his life. And for me, you know, I was thinking about, oh, well, what are the important things in my life? And this is something that, you know, I won't forget it. I'm glad he graduated. It's great. Now he has it. He's always going to have it. And I was thinking about, for me, you know, one of the most important things that I've done, for good or bad, is I decided to move to Thailand. And at the time I thought, I know I'm crazy for doing this. But you know, when I said I'm bailing, that's it. I'm out of here. I got a whole. The world is a big place, and you can do what you want in it as long as you're earning a living, as long as you're making money, or as long as you have the money. And at the time, I thought, okay, I got the money. I'm gonna move. I'll be making money. Life is good, and I won't be in the United States anymore. It had nothing to do with politics, had nothing to do with any of that. Had nothing to do, I mean, there was no Trump, you know, as a politician. There was no Biden as a president. There was none of this stuff. So I wasn't thinking about any of this. I wasn't thinking, oh, things are so bad, because you're talking, what is it? It's almost 30 years now. So things were much different. I came because I wanted an experience. I wanted to see the world. I wanted to know what it was like outside of the United States and what it would be like for me if I was living a different sort of lifestyle. And, you know, that I didn't know it at the time, and I don't think Alex really knows it, but that was probably one of the biggest steps that I've taken in my life, because if I didn't do that, first of all, I wouldn't have gotten to do the things I've done. I wouldn't have worked as a photographer. I wouldn't have worked on a boxing team. And then I wouldn't have met my wife, and I wouldn't have kids. So, you know, it's a monumental decision I made. And at the time I thought, well, it may be nutso that I'm going to take off, but I'm doing it. And, you know, when I look back at that, I think just how important it was. And now I'm happy I made that decision, because I'm in a different place in my life now, and I'm getting ready to start, you know, the full retirement life very shortly. Social Security starts coming in. Things are going to be a little bit different. You know, I'll be doing some different things, and I'll have more money, which will be nice. So, you know, I think that's important to realize. And one of the videos that I plan on putting up in the next couple of weeks has to do with, if you're going to retire, what kind of things you need to do. A lot of people who come here to retire. And I think some of the people that come over and they decide they're going to retire, they don't know what they're going to do. They're floundering. And so I think when you are going to retire, you need to have some kind of a plan. You need to think to yourself, well, what am I going to do that's going to make my life worthwhile after I'm done working, whatever kind of job it is. What is it that you're doing now? Are you still teaching English?
I occasionally teach a class, but nothing regular.
So now you're retired.
I'm retired. I put on all my paperwork.
95% retired.
99%.
99% retired, because he's getting a pension, he's getting Social Security now, and so that's it. He's in a new fit. So what is it you do most of the time besides tap on the computer?
Not much.
Do you have any hobbies?
I watch streaming from Spectrum in the USA over VPN.
You watch streaming from the
Spectrum
USA.
TV in the USA.
I have Fire Stick. I have a Fire Stick. And actually, Daniel, if you're out there, I was watching it. Well, we were watching it yesterday. We watched Home Alone and Home Alone 2. Why not? We had to watch it. And I have a VPN where I can watch like Netflix from America, you know, and all that stuff. But I don't use it that often because I just don't watch that much. TV is not like a hobby for me. So I think that's very important that you decide what you're going to do, whether it's sit around, whether it's walk your dog, which I think Tom does a lot of. He walks his dogs. 2 dogs, right? Yeah.
Mother and son.
Walks his 2 dogs, comes have coffee, goes out to eat sometimes, and your wife is working?
Yeah.
She's working now? So his wife is working. which, you know, that brings it, that's another phase.
She makes almost as much as your wife for working 1 day a week.
Can't complain about that. But sometimes what happens is they're working, making a living, and you're doing whatever you want to do, and you've got money coming in, and they're like, it's not fair. I'm busting my ass, and you're not. And you have money coming in, and I got money coming in, but I've got to work a lot harder than you do. You know, and that's how it goes. You know, that's just how it is. All right, let me see this here. Did he? No, he didn't hear anything from the Japanese. Wow, what is this? I only have a few comments. Let me see here. That's all I got. Farang Travels, Carlos, Happy New Year. Oh yeah, let me, where's that thing here? Okay. Air quality, 122. Thai baht, 34.27 to the dollar. Currently 75 degrees, low of 73, high of 91. Feel like temperature 77. 70% humidity. Very nice weather. I'm not complaining. Some of the Thais think it's a little cold, but it's very nice out, and the weather doesn't get much better than what it is right now. Now, before I get started, do me a favor. Leave a thumbs up, subscribe, join, whatever. Go down in the description, check it out, see how you can help the channel. Maybe it's just watching, maybe it's going on my social media. If you need some help, whether it's help getting over here, help figuring things out, help in a relationship, whatever it may be, get in touch with me at americaninbangkok@gmail.com. I've been here now, it's almost half my life. Hard to believe. Almost half my life. When I came here, I had hair. I did. I had hair when I came here.
I never talk about that kind of thing. It's so alien to me.
You got hair. I don't have hair. And I'm glad I don't have hair. Honestly, I am glad I don't have hair, because when I did have hair, I constantly needed to comb it. I need to have it trimmed. I need to put gel in it. It was a pain in the neck. I like being bald. You know that? I like being bald.
I know many men like being bald.
I don't have to worry about my hair. I think it's pretty good. Anyway, okay, now a couple of things. In Pattaya, there was a brawl. You heard about this, Mr. Tom? A brawl between Indians and Thais.
Really?
Out in the middle of the street on Beach Road. I don't know what happened. I don't think anybody knows what happens, but some Thais and some Indians were going at it. They have it on video. It's on Facebook. I watched the video. It didn't look like the people really know what they were doing. They weren't like throwing blows like, you know, a boxer would. They're just trying to smack each other. A couple people had big sticks. They're trying, and you know, they were like, I don't know what they were. They're like from the palm tree or something. They're trying to hit each other, but they're making a big deal about it because it's involving the Indians. And, you know, there's a lot of Indians now. And I personally think that Thais don't really like them, just like they don't really like Chinese. I'm not going to say I dislike either of them, but they're not amongst my favorite nationalities. How's that?
I'm sorry?
Indians and Chinese, I stopped short of saying I don't like them, but I will say they're not my favorite nationalities. They can be a bit grating and irritating. And if you remember when I went to Vietnam and I went to Ha Long Bay, I took a bus, and there was probably 50 people on the bus, and probably 35 of them were Indians. And they told them, please don't be late. There are people here who have to catch their planes when we come back. And, you know, be on time. If I tell you to be back at 7:30, be back at 7:30. And what happened is that at 7:30, the Thais would be like, well, where are these people? We need to go. Then they go and, you know, they're sitting there smoking cigarettes or, you know, eating their meal. And they're like, listen, it's 7:30, we got to go right now. Oh, just 5 more minutes, just 5 more minutes. And so it didn't go over very well. That's what I'll say. You know, I was like, leave them here. Hey, if they're not back on time, give them an extra 5 minutes. If they're not back, then leave them. It's their fault. But you can't do that, unfortunately. That was my way of dealing with it. Thai, I know, do not like Indian food. I enjoy Indian food. I like it, you know, Indian food, up to a point. I don't want to eat it too much. It's one of my, I'd say it's in my top 10 of favorite foods. But, you know, a lot of people I know have said, don't ever do business with Indians. I have no need to, so I don't. And I don't want to get involved in something at all. I don't need to. Why? But some people feel the need to do that, and, you know, whatever happens with them, okay, that's on them. But that's what was going on in Pattaya. Also, I don't know what's going on with this, but some Chinese, you know, the Chinese supposedly are going abroad for women. The reason they're going abroad for women is they think that the Chinese women, more and more of them do not want to have children, and more of them do not want to have sex with them, and more of them don't want to get married. And so the Chinese are going abroad, and they like to marry Thais and Laotians. But what happens is, what has happened apparently, is they knock the chick up. They go and get the sex checked, and if the baby is a female, then they just dump the girl and say, that's it, we're done, see you later. I don't want a little girl. You know, because they want little boys to carry on their names. Which, you know, I understand they want boys, but like, you don't just dump the chick. But that's what they've been doing. So now there's an investigation going. I hate to say it, but it's kind of funny when you think about it. It's like, oh, I love you so much. Oh, baby, I love you too. Until you have a girl. If you're going to have a girl, I don't want to be with you anymore. My love stops when you have a girl. So, there's an investigation going on into the Chinese syndicate, and this whole matter of having boys, having girls, all the Thai women getting dumped because they're having women, female babies instead of males. I was in a quiet park area with open air cafe. A Chinese tour group turned up. A Chinese guide had a loudspeaker shouting his mouth. Well, that is one reason why a lot of people don't like Chinese, because sometimes they are a bit over the top. They talk too much. They're too loud. And you may remember that before the mall got changed around, I was at the old Starbucks, and like 6 Chinese came in. It was like 3 men, 3 women, and they're like screaming at each other. There was no reason. It wasn't like they were mad at each other. They were just screaming. That's how they talk. And it was like I couldn't even hear myself think. And I yelled and I said, shut the, shut up. Shut the F up. Trying to curb my cursing. I yelled it at them, and they didn't. I don't think at first they knew who was yelling at them, but they kind of just like, oh, and it shut them up for a second. Then they walked off, and they didn't keep yelling. But I was serious. It's like you're screaming and yelling in the middle of the mall. It draws attention to you, and that's what I think a lot of people don't like, is that they're obnoxious, and that they're loud, they're obnoxious, and they don't have any. And this maybe it comes from their culture, where they have to fight to get into places, and they have to just step right in front of people, and that's not the way that. Well, I can tell you that in the past, I would be at 7-Eleven and some Thai would step in front of me, and I'd go, "Excuse me, get behind me. I'm in line. There's a queue." And they're doing it less often now, but a lot of the Chinese, they do tend to get in front of you. They'll, as a pack, they'll walk in front of you. They do it in immigration. They do it at the airport. It's crazy. You got 20 Chinese, and Vietnamese do it too. But you get like 20 of them, and they all think they can just go walk in front of everybody and get up, and then it's like, hey, get in the back of the line. And they don't always like that. They don't understand it. I don't understand Chinese, and I don't think that I have hidden my disdain for Chinese. I would be more than willing to give any person a chance to be a decent person.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. However, what I found is that many Chinese, many Indians, on occasion maybe some Vietnamese, they're very pushy and obnoxious at times. And I don't particularly like that. And you gotta stand up sometimes and say something. I've never really had anything major with a Chinese person or a Indian person. I've never had any major confrontations or anything like that. But maybe it's because a couple of times I have said things to them. Like I was in Bali, and a group of Chinese just stepped out. I'm taking a picture. They stepped right in front of my picture. I'm like, hey, get out of the way. And, of course, then, I'm sorry. But, I was in Chiang Mai, and a group of Chinese, there was that, what is that museum where they have, it's an art museum where they have like 3D art, and it's all on the wall. And you go in, and you can see things, and then it looks different. And, it's a cool museum. You go in there for, 2 hours. And you see some cool things, but I was taking some pictures. And the same thing, they just got right in front. And I was like, get out of the way, And some of them, they're just oblivious. They just don't even think about anything outside of their own wheelhouse, So, that's the way it is. Anyway, so there's that whole thing about the Chinese looking for Thais and Laotians because they want little boys, and when they get little girls, then they leave them. And now the Thai police, they're onto it, and I don't know what they're going to do about it. What are you going to do? I mean, you can't regulate love, I don't think, but they're trying to. Also, I don't know if anybody's heard this about this little 8-year-old kid. Have you heard about this, Tom? The phenomenal 8-year-old spiritual leader. His name is, Nice. His name is Nice. In Thailand, and he is a spiritual leader, and some of the Thais go to him, and he doesn't say a word, and they donate money to him so that they can prosper, they can get ahead in their lives, and he doesn't say anything to them. And people are complaining that some Thais are not using their brains. that they're not thinking logically, because this little kid just sits there, and he's a smug little guy. We'll put it that way. That's being very nice. He's very smug. He's got this attitude that he is holier than thou. And the Thais go up to him and they donate money and they expect to gain favor, we'll say, with the man upstairs or with Buddha or whatever it is. I don't know what it is. I'm not a religious person. I don't get into religion very much, but that's what's going on with this little kid, which is kind of crazy. It's interesting that I do notice what you're saying among the Chinese here in Thailand, but I lived in Taiwan for several years. I witnessed very little, if any, of that annoying behavior. When I lived in the UK, the Chinese that lived there were all nice people. Yeah, I think that comes with, Taiwan, you could say Taiwan are not Chinese in the sense, like they're not from the mainland. When I went to Hong Kong, one of the first girl that I met, she was very, very helpful to me because she hated mainland Chinese. She absolutely hated it. She said, don't you ever confuse me with them. I don't spit on the street. I don't shit on the street. She's like, they do that. I don't do that. In Hong Kong, we don't do that. I was like, whoa, it's pretty heavy. She was, she was a nice chick. She was a barista and she was all covered with tattoos and everything. But she was very against, she helped me immensely. Knowing where things were, knowing when things were going to take place and all this other kind of stuff. She just basically told me things that I needed translation for, she helped me with. Excuse me. So, I don't know what else to say about him because I really don't want to speak ill of an entire group of people, because I do know some Chinese that are very nice and that have been very good to me. But I would say that a lot of the mainlanders, for whatever reason, yeah, I think I should just stop there. For whatever reason, most people don't want to interact with them. Most Westerners would probably rather not interact with them. So, but this little kid, I don't understand what they're doing with it. How would you decide that this kid is a religious leader and he's going to take care of everything and you could go to him and just give him some money and everything will be okay? I don't understand that either. But that's a Buddhist thing, and while I'm not against Buddhism. In fact, I like Buddhism. It's not your traditional religion. But to go to a little kid who knows where this kid came from? I don't know. They don't give you the whole backstory. But there's a lot of Thai people that really believe in this, and people are going, maybe the universities, we shouldn't even be bothering teaching them English. We should be teaching them logic and science so that they know that what is going on with this little kid is just a bunch of BS. So, that's all I got to say about that. Now, I'm curious to know, as I've been saying, there are times in your life when you know, or when you look back at it, you may not know when it happens, but you may look back at it and you go, this is a critical period in my life, or this is the decision that's going to affect the rest of my life. What do I do? And, most of the people that I know who are coming to Thailand tend to come over and they're 50 to 60 years old, 50 to 65 years old, and they're coming over basically to retire. They don't have to do anything when they come over here. But every once in a while there's somebody like me, where, you got time ahead of you, and you're like, okay, what am I going to do with my time? And, you know, yes, I YouTube, and you know, I do a little YouTube, and I try to keep myself busy that way. But eventually I will do less YouTube, or will do no YouTube. And I think, well, what is going to replace that? Well, photography maybe. I could say travel, and you know, my wife just basically left it up to me. She said, we can go wherever you want to go. I don't know if you know this. Did I tell you? First, I don't know if I told you, but originally I was planning to go Switzerland. I don't think I did tell you. Switzerland, Austria, Liechtenstein.
Upcoming. You mentioned vaguely.
Upcoming in like May. Now, because I've been looking around, my
Let me
wife.
join you in the picture here, so
Okay.
they don't feel so left out. Okay.
So my wife is getting. She's already got her paperwork to get her Schengen visa.
Right.
That's paperwork from her job and everything like that. So all she has to do is just put it in. She get the visa. Right? I think it's good for 2 years or so. I don't know, a year. I don't know. Anyway, so I looked up all the countries that you can go to if you have that visa. It's 20. I think it's 27 countries.
These are European countries?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, some of the countries I don't really want to go to, like, not yet. And those are like, sorry, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Netherlands, because I've been there many, many times.
It's cold up there.
It's a little too cold. I'd rather go somewhere a little warm. Now, I haven't been to Spain. She's been to Spain. I've been to Portugal. So I don't really want to go to those places. So I started looking around. And I started thinking about it, and I thought, where is the most reasonably priced, where are the most reasonably priced countries in Europe? What would you think?
Portugal?
No.
Okay.
No other guesses?
In all of, I'm assuming we're limiting this
Schengen.
to non-communist Western Europe. Poland, maybe?
No. Although Poland, I think Poland gets a bad rap, and Poland is a very nice place, and it's also very beautiful. Most people think it's very gray. Maybe the weather is gray, but I don't think the country is that way. However, you know, I was thinking about going to Switzerland and Liechtenstein, and Austria. And I started thinking about it, and I thought, you know, Switzerland, man, sometimes the hotels are $250, $350 a night. It's a lot of money. I was like, maybe we'll pass on that. We can go later. So I started to look. I found Hungary and Romania
Those would have been on my list.
are
somewhere
two
in
of the
top
cheaper places, and also Slovakia.
I hear that Ukraine's pretty cheap nowadays.
Okay. You know, there was a time when I would have went to the Ukraine. I don't really want to go now.
I went there once, a long time ago.
Slovakia, Hungary, and Romania. So I was thinking about it, I thought, well, I could go Hungary, Slovakia, and then go to the Czech Republic. We could fly into the Czech Republic, go to Slovakia, go to Hungary, then come back to Czechoslovakia, and then we could fly, you know, round trip from Czech. So we're looking into it now. And
All of those are former Iron Curtain countries. What I've heard, and I knew this pretty well some 5-6 years ago, of the Western European non-Iron Curtain countries, Portugal is among the least.
I don't want to go to Portugal.
It's among the least expensive.
I've
if
already
not-
went to Portugal.
If not the least expensive.
It's
for
not that
expats,
cheap.
for expats.
But
I know
okay.
I know a great big expat community there that was very.
I understand I'm not going to Portugal.
Yeah.
Wipe it out.
Okay.
It's not going to happen. We already went there.
Good.
And while we could go back, I really would like to go somewhere new.
Yeah.
So would she. So, we've narrowed it down now to Hungary, Czech Republic, Slovakia, and Romania. We could go to one country, or we could go to 3 countries. So that's what I'm thinking. That's what we're working out. We're working on this now. She's already got her documents, and we'll be putting in for her Schengen visa fairly soon, in the next couple of weeks after the new year. And then sometime in May, we're going to take off for about 15 days and go to Europe. Probably go to those places. She actually said, I want to go to London. I'm like, why do you want to go to London? I don't know. You know how Thais are. She doesn't really know much about the place. She just would like to go. So I'm curious to know from you guys which countries you would like to see me go to. And don't be a smart ass and tell me to go to the Ukraine like Tom. I don't want to go to the Ukraine.
I had a good time in the Ukraine.
I understand, but now's a different time.
96.
Yeah, now's a different time from 1996. So, those are the places that I'm thinking about. But, you know, I'm not opposed to going to somewhere like Luxembourg, go there for a couple of days. And you can go to these places for what is really not all that much. I mean, you're talking about hotels that are, their average is somewhere around 2,000 baht, which is about $65, $60. You get yourself a halfway decent 3-star hotel.
I would say Hungary would be just my interaction with Hungarian people. I've enjoyed Hungary.
I know very little about Hungary, but I'm willing to learn and to know more.
The Romanians I've met, I'm not too impressed with them. I'm not anti, but they're just, and Romania is as the name implies, an old Roman Empire. They speak a Latin language. But I have no interest in Romania.
Slovakia?
Slovakia maybe, or maybe Slovenia. They're two different countries.
Yes. What about Prague?
No overriding.
I've heard a lot of very good things about Prague, and about the Czech Republic.
Yeah, well, you know, Shirley Temple Black used to be the ambassador to the Czech Republic.
And that matters why?
Just a nice piece of trivia. She used to be the U.S. ambassador to the Czech Republic.
That's great,
when
but
it
doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter.
I don't think she's alive today.
No, she's not alive. I think she's long dead. Yeah, I don't know where else. I mean, you know, I've been thinking about it. Originally, we started out, we wanted to go on the Camino de Santiago walk, but it's going to take too long, and I think the most you can get off is about 22 days. So it takes about a month to a month and a half to walk that. We don't want to do that.
I don't know where you would find, but you could search. There are riverboat cruises that go through that area.
No.
And they take you to many different places, and you don't have to continuously change hotel rooms.
No.
Because the boat basically floats down the river to
Not
these
going to
different
happen.
places.
I'm not a fan of cruises.
A riverboat cruise,
I've been on cruises before, and I don't want to go on cruises. Because I don't want to be stuck on the boat sometimes, and, you know, that's your whole existence, the boat, and then you get off for a day or whatever it is, then you go somewhere else. I just don't want to do that. So, but, you know, I think the key was that she did not want to go in Asia anymore. She didn't want to go to Japan. She didn't want to go to Taiwan. She's already been to some of these places, and the reason that she really wants to, she just wants to go to Europe. She just wants to get away from this type of culture in Asia and see what it's like in Europe. I mean, I could do, you know, we talked about doing, you know, London and Paris. We could do that very easily.
It doesn't qualify for the non-Asian trip, but I always like Mongolia. I want to go to Mongolia.
She doesn't want to go to Mongolia. I can tell you that.
I would love to go to
She doesn't want to go anywhere in Asia. I don't know what you don't understand. She wants to go to Europe.
It's a little bit different than typical Asia.
Chuck, my friend Chuck, who's in the channel sometimes, He wants to go to Tajikistan. He wants to go to Turkmenistan. He wants to go to all these stands.
Yeah, I'd love to go.
If it were me, it'd be Ireland. We went to Ireland only for the day, and while we liked Ireland very much, and we could go to, say, England, Ireland, Wales, we could do that. I don't know about that. I don't
How about the
know.
Faroe Islands?
No. I mean, you're talking out your ass.
Yep.
We're talking about Tajikistan. I'm saying she doesn't want to go to any of these places. I'm trying to pinpoint it.
You can go to Israel.
So, and anyway, and he's talking about going to some war-torn country. I don't want, and I would never, listen, I'm not a fan of going to Israel. I don't care if there's a war there, not
Go to
going
Gaza.
on. I don't want to go to any of those. I don't care about those places. They don't enthrall me. They don't grab me. They won't pull me in. I don't want to go to any of those
Not
places.
Asia. Go to Egypt.
No,
Okay.
it's not going to happen. I don't like those places. And Europe is more my speed.
Okay.
I like Ireland,
Now,
Steve. Thank
when
you very
when
much.
traveled- when
I like
traveled for the
Ireland.
Government, I always said any place but Europe. I didn't
Yeah, but
want
we're
to go
not
to
talking about you.
Europe. I understand.
We're talking about my wife who has her own way of thinking, which sometimes I don't know why she thinks the things that she does. But, you know, I'm game to go anywhere. So, I mean, I could go to London. I got some friends there. I could go to Paris. I could go to, I could go to the Netherlands. But I've been to these places. I want to go somewhere new.
South Africa.
She doesn't want to go to Africa. What don't you understand?
But it's South Africa.
I don't give a shit.
There's a lot of Netherlands people there. A lot of Dutch people. Heritage people.
You are totally useless.
Thank you.
Really. Oh my God.
You got my votes.
You're the one who came in. I thought maybe you had something useful to say.
I gave you my votes.
Yeah, but your vote is not within the realms.
I gave you Hungary,
Okay.
right?
We're thinking about Hungary, yes.
And Czech.
We thought about going to Italy. I thought about going to Greece. I actually thought about Malta. Sicily. So that's what's on my mind. I've been thinking about these things. And, I don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to go somewhere. Because we have to buy the ticket. In order for her to get the Schengen visa, we need to have a ticket to somewhere. So we're going to buy the ticket in the next couple of weeks, and then she's going to get the Schengen visa in the next couple of weeks. And then we'll end up going. Just like that. So, as you can hear, the mall music is playing. Is this supposed to get us psyched up to shop here? Anyway, so that's what's going on. I don't have a real set subject for today or anything like that. Sunday is New Year's Eve here, and I'll be streaming. Yeah, we're just trying to figure out what we're going to do for the next 6 months of our life. Next year, what's going to happen next year? What are we going to do? We're trying to figure it all out. My wife, myself, my kids. My kids are not kids anymore. They're young men. So that's what's going on, and it's enough for me. Really. But honestly, I'm thinking about what is the best place to go. And I'm thinking what's going to make my wife happy, but also what are some places that I'd like to go because they're interesting, and I could get some video footage. I can get some footage, put it online, people be happy they see these places. through my particular Asian slanted eyes. And that's why I didn't really want to go somewhere that I've been before. I've been to Belgium, I've been to France, I've been to, you know, lots of places in Europe, so I want to go somewhere new. This music is driving me crazy. Thank you. I think they play it right before they open up. And right now, you got the, what is it? Have you been in that Don 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 Key yet? The one over here, right here. Yep, you haven't been in there? He's like me. He doesn't do any shopping anywhere unless he needs something. I went in the DIY place last night because I wanted to get a couple of extension cords. And you know, I found two of them. They were 169 baht each. 4 plugs, very good extension cords. I was very surprised because
I came here for lunch one day. My wife went in there. It was big. I just didn't really.
yeah, you know, sometimes you go in these places, they're charging, you know, 1,000 baht, 800 baht for these extension cords, and I'm like, we don't need that. So that's another thing we're doing, is going through the house and throwing stuff out. You know, we're doing the New Year means new. And the old year in the past means we got to get rid of some old things. I'm getting rid of some clothes. Old lady's getting rid of some clothes. We're all getting rid of stuff. So I don't know what's going to happen. However, what I'll say is, aside from not living exactly where I'd like to live, which if I lived in a nice place in Bangkok, on the outskirts of Bangkok, where I could get in with the SkyTrain fairly easily. Tom. Well, it's hard to see, but there's some things going on at the Swenson's right now. I don't know what they're doing, but anyway, I would like to move, but you know, where to? Because we're thinking about just giving the place where we live now, that'll be Alex's place to live. And then from there we move somewhere else. But I don't know where. Because we could go live on the beach somewhere, we could just get a little condo, I don't know. But you know, it's up to my wife too, because you know, she wants to be happy. I don't know what, but we're not going to move back to Surat or anything like that. So, you know, we got all these things going on, and you know, sometimes we think about them, sometimes we don't. Like, you know, we looked at about 6 or 7 houses, and we, with the nicks on all of them, there's one place down the street that might be okay, and I'm not all that big on it, and the wife isn't either. So we're just kind of, oh well, we'll stay where we are. I keep telling her, just put the money in the bank. You just keep putting money in the bank, keep stashing the cash, and don't worry about a place to live. If it's meant to be, then it'll be, and we'll move there. And if it's not meant to be, then we won't. You know? And in the meantime, I will probably go to the United States sometimes next year. But first, we're going to go somewhere in Europe. So, anyway, I got 31 people here. Only 12 thumbs up. Leave a thumbs up, please. Subscribe. Click the notification bell. Do all these kind of things. Sometimes I go and do exciting stuff. Sometimes I sit here and shoot the shit. Like today. Sometimes I go to Klang Tui. Sometimes I go to Chinatown. Sometimes I go somewhere out a ways. But today, I'm sitting right here, so I'd appreciate it if you just click the thumbs up, hit like, hit the super chats, hit the super buttons, whatever super buttons there are. Do whatever you want to do. look down in the description. I'd appreciate it. And I think they're going to open up. Well, they should be opening right now. Yeah, right now they're opening up, and they should be allowing people to come in here. They got people working here, but I don't really know. Here comes all the people. This Pakmara, there's usually 3 girls here that I've come to know a little bit, and they're not working today. For what that's worth. Anyway. So I don't really have a lot to talk about today, to be honest. Just going through the stages of living. And that's the thing. Most of the people that I deal with, they come over when they're ready to retire. I got a message from a guy the other day telling me about the keto diet, how he's been on the keto and everything, but he's only 58. He's got a few years left before he can retire. And that's kind of the case with most people. I don't get a lot of messages of guys who have concrete, good, solid plans to come over here when they're, say, 30 or 35. And I know Thailand has made it more difficult to do that. However, if you have a little money, you can easily do it. You can get yourself an elite visa. You know, there are ways to come over here. So it's a little bit surprising to me. But the reason I'm bringing that up is because, you know, if you're 30 or 35, you're bound to go through stages of life. When you come over here at, say, 62 or 65, you're already in the last stage where you're in the retirement phase, and you've got to get used to retiring in Thailand or the Philippines or Vietnam, wherever it is. You've got to get used to it. But other than that, that's the only stage that you have. I don't know what they're doing here. They've got to plug everything in here and get it to work right. Other than that, there's nothing else. So yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this, but if you come over here and you're in your 30s, you know, you're going to have to go through things. I mean, you may meet somebody, you may get married, you may, you know, you may not. You may stay single. Yeah, that's what I was talking about, Tom. Yeah, I don't know what else. You know, you may come over here, you may think, oh, I've got to have a car. You might buy a car, might move around, you might start dating, and you might, you know, end up with somebody, you might get married, and then it's, oh, we're going to have kids, where are we going to live? You might go through all these things. Because I went through them, and now I'm happy I did. But, you know, I could have done this in the United States. I could have done some of this in the United States. I don't know if I would be as happy or how I would have gone about doing things. And I'm glad I don't live in the United States, to be honest. And I still am getting messages all the time about what's going on in the U.S. And, oh, can you believe they did this? Can you believe they're doing that? I don't care. I really don't care. I don't care about what goes on in the U.S. unless it affects me. So, anyway, that's all I got. I don't have anything else. If there's people here that want to say anything, then say what you want to say. We can have a conversation. You got 30 people in here and nobody's talking. Everybody's listening. It's Friday. I got nothing to do today. My wife's got a half day. She's at home working. She's only working half day. And then I'll go home. Let her cook for me. You got 30 people and not one person is saying a word. Unbelievable. It just tells me that there's a lot of people lurking and not a lot of people that want to chat, which is fine, but then I guess it means I don't really need to be here. Richard, how's it going? Can always count on you to come in and talk. I know that. You know, like I was saying, the phases of life. I've been going through my phases, and pretty soon I'll be on that last phase where it's just retirement, doing what I want, 100% retired, doing what I want, and nothing else. Even though it's kind of like that now anyway, but I'll be formally retired fairly soon, which I'm looking forward to. And I think 2/4 Korean will be back in your neck of the woods somewhere around the end of January. Just so you know. So you guys can hook up or whatever. You can give him a kick in the balls. What are you eating? Can I fly into Thailand on a one-way ticket and have a cheap ticket to Cambodia as proof of onward ticket? Retiring there. Well, if you're retiring here in February and you have your visa, you don't need to have an onward ticket. If you don't have a retirement visa and you're coming to Thailand, you probably still do not need an onward ticket. And the reason is because they never ask for it. If you're coming in on like a no visa entry, they're probably not going to ask you, they're not going to ask you to see the onward ticket. So I wouldn't worry about that. Yeah, you don't need to worry. They're not going to ask you about it. When was the last time your parents came to Thailand? My mother and my sister have been here. My sister's been here with her kids. My father has never been here, but he doesn't want to come here because it's a hassle to fly, and he doesn't want to do it. And that's fine because they're older, you know, they're in their 80s, and I'd rather just go to them, and I will fly, you know, for them I'll fly. You know, for my wife, she wants to go to Europe, okay, I'll fly. Some other place, I mean, Chuck he still wants to go to North Korea. And he's like, oh, your channel will do so good. And I'm like, Chuck, I don't really care. If I don't want to go to North Korea, I won't go to North Korea. If I want to go, I'll go. But right now, I don't want to go. I don't care about North Korea. You know, it's not so enticing to me that I'm like, I've got to go there. To go with my wife would be an experience. It's another experience. We've been all over the world together. It's another experience. Okay, yeah, I'd like to go with her. But like just to travel for the sake of traveling, I just don't want to do it anymore. I like what I'm doing here, which, you know, most of the time is not really all that much. Let's see here. So yeah, I got your question here about flying in. Yeah, that's okay. When was the last time we transited? Eating salmon and mash. You know, my wife made some homemade mashed potatoes. Fantastic. They were so good. And then she made some more. She had to go out and get potatoes again, and she made more. Couple of bratwurst on the side. Actually, I may go today and get some sausage. They're 199 baht. There's 6 of them, sometimes 7, and they're so good. And they're a complete, you know, you eat 2 or 3 of them, it's a full meal, and it's meat. The only thing is they're a little salty, but you know, I can do that. And actually, Richard, we had salmon yesterday. That's what we had. Moving to Chiang Mai, hoping it's not too smoky this coming season. You know, it's only a couple months out of the year. I don't know what else to say about it. I don't like it either, but and that's one of the things about Chiang Mai that I don't like. I do like that the cost of living is a lot lower, or somewhat lower than here in Bangkok. But have you been to Thailand before, I take it? Yes, many times. Okay. So you know what you're in for, you know. I don't know what they're going to do about the burning. They've been promising that they were going to clear up the burning season, that they were going to get the farmers on board to doing something different. They were going to change it, and they never do. And you know, it's just like the U.S. government. It's just like many other governments. A lot of time it's just yapping. That's all they do. They're just talking. That's it. You know. It's not only them, it's some of the surrounding countries do the same kind of thing. They burn, they have pollution, and you know, there's going to have to be some radical changes here in order for them to get the pollution under control. I don't know what they need to do. I really don't know all the things they can do, and I think there's most of the people there in office don't really know either. You know, and that's why one of the things I think it's very important. And you know, my wife and even my parents, they're like, oh yeah, it's very dangerous having air levels like that. Okay, I understand it's dangerous. Then what do I do about it? Go somewhere where the air is very clean. But, you know, with a family, it's difficult just to say, okay, I'm going to pick up and go. And it's, okay, am I going to, you know, if Alex has a job, what am I going to do? Leave him behind? You know, what are we going to do? We're going to leave him here and go, well, you know, if you want to come visit us, I mean, if you really wanted to stay behind, you would, and that would be okay. The same with Nicholas. You know, they can do whatever they want. They can write their own tickets pretty much. That's the whole thing. Once they get their degree, at least, okay, you know, it gives them options. and they speak good English. I mean, I told, I think it was Richard, he said, yeah, you know, you should get Alex to apply with the embassy. And I told Alex yesterday, you need to be applying at the embassy. He goes, that's a good job. And he goes, yeah, well, they got an opening. I just saw the opening yesterday. So he's into that. And that's something, I don't know, you know, he's probably sleeping now. But he is going to apply. He is interested in that. And if he could get in with an embassy and start working, you know, all the time, he could do very, very well for himself. He could travel around. He could do all kinds of things. These kids, they got a lot more options than I do, or than I ever did, and which is, you know, it's kind of my fault. But they're not like I was when oh shit, they're not like I was, you know, at 17. Not a lot of cars there. Where is pollution coming from? I don't know what you mean, not a lot of cars here. The streets are packed with cars, at least in Bangkok. In Chiang Mai, there's a lot more cars than there used to be. In Hua Hin, traffic, extreme. Pattaya, traffic, extreme. And that's the thing now. You know, I've become more of a homebody because I don't want to deal with traffic. The other day, where did I go? Well, when I went to Klong Tui. I took the SkyTrain. I took the SkyTrain to the MRT, and then the MRT took me to Klong Tui. I got out and I walked. I didn't take a taxi. I didn't go in a car. I didn't take a bus. I went on the MRT. And if I go back there, I'll go on the MRT again. So I don't mind taking public transportation, like the boat, the SkyTrain, the subway, CityLink, sometimes a taxi. I don't mind doing that. But sometimes you're stuck no matter what. You're gonna, I mean, I went and hung out with 2/4 Korean a couple days ago. And to get to where he was, I went to M Quartier. I had to take the SkyTrain to the subway to the Sukhumvit line and then get off on Prompong, went into M Quartier, and then we hung out for a while. Then I had to go back on the Sky. I mean, you know, it's a little tiring, but okay, that's not a problem. But it's time consuming. But it's better than sitting in traffic in a taxi. I haven't been to Thailand for 15 years. Can you suggest an Isan destination to get away from the busyness for 30 days? I'm 53, single, and want a little bit of nightlife and not desperate for it. I would say, now, no nightlife. I like, Bungkan. That place was great. That was the place where I walked around the mountain and was scared shitless. Nakhon Phanom? I think that's where it was. And they have a little nightlife there. That's where they have the walkway. It's right on the Mekong River. It's really nice. I really like that place. And I can't remember, there used to be a YouTuber. He lived there for a while. I don't know what the deal was. MRT quick, what is this? MRT quicker and aircon. Well, MRT's aircon, SkyTrain's aircon, CityLink's aircon. I like the MRT more than I do the SkyTrain, simply because they give you a 50% discount because you're over 60. And to me, the BTS differentiating between Thais and foreigners does not set a good precedent. It pisses me off. And not only that, it's just not that cost effective. It's not cheap anymore. It's gotten to be a little bit expensive. How much do you pay for your yoga classes? I don't pay for the classes. I pay for 1 month. It's $12.99 at the fitness place. It's $12.99, and you get as many yoga classes, body combat, body core, dance classes, whatever you want. You get all those. That's incorporated. Plus, they've got, you know, a lot of weights. I mean, they got all the weights you could possibly need, and they've got everything else. Konkan, Nong Khai is kind of it's a standard place that you could go. That's why I was saying Nakhon Phanom. It's a bit different. Not everybody goes there. And Bunkan, it doesn't have nightlife, and it's spread out, but there's a lot to do there, and it's really cool. But yeah, Nong Khai is nice also. So the roads need revamping, more lanes. Thank you. You're welcome. Some of the roads in this area definitely need revamping, and if you're just on Happy Land 1, Happy Land 2, there's 2 lanes, and what'll happen is sometimes a truck will just pull over as far over as he can get in 1 lane, and then he'll start taking out his products to deliver in the store or whatever. And so he's blocking half the lane. And then everybody's got to go around him, which means going into the other lane. And then that stops the traffic that's coming the other way. And sometimes people get in accidents because of that. It's just ridiculous. And that's one thing, listen, if I want to bitch about anything, I want to bitch about the motorcycle drivers lately. Some of them are just idiots. They are not intelligent at all. You need to really watch who you have as your motorcycle driver, because have you noticed that lately? Motorcycle drivers, you take motorcycles at all? Have you noticed that some of them now, I mean, they've always been kind of, how shall I say, not so smart. But now more and more, like the other day, I was coming from the gym, and we're going down the road, and there's a truck in front of us. He had to move over because there was another truck that was parked. So he moves over, so the driver starts going around the right side, and there's a truck coming full speed ahead. He's like gonna try to squeeze by, and I'm like, you don't have room, there's nowhere to go, where are you gonna go? You're gonna kill me. I got pissed, and he started getting pissed off. I go, listen, don't be pissed off at me, be pissed off at yourself. Freaking idiot, man. We're going straight ahead, full speed ahead. It would have been full, we would have went right into that truck, man. We barely missed hitting it. And I was like, don't do that. I don't need to go that quick. You know, I'm not in a hurry where I gotta I'll give you an extra 20 baht. I don't need to get there so fast so you can make an extra 10 baht. You can make your way back and then make an extra 10 baht. I'll give you the extra 10 baht or 20 baht, whatever. But they really have been irritating me lately because that's what they do. They're always in a hurry. It's like, wait a minute, hey. And I always tell them, you don't need to rush. What's the rush? Why are you going to hurry? You don't need to hurry. I don't want to die on the back of a motorcycle because you decided you got to go really fast and try to get past everybody and squeeze through. And no, take your time. And if you can pass, you pass. If you can't, you don't. Motorcycles still driving on the sidewalk. Not as much, no. They don't drive on the sidewalk as much. Some do every once in a while, but for the most part, no, they're not. They've kind of stopped doing that. Listen, sometimes though, they'll go the wrong way just to get to a turn or something like that. I mean, there are advantages to be on a motorcycle. But when they decide to speed up and go around somebody and there's not much room, and then there's cars coming, and yes, sometimes there's plenty of time and you can move over, but sometimes I'm like, what is this guy doing? You know, sometimes they got their heads up their asses. How would you suggest? Would you suggest hiring a minivan 4x5 from arriving at the airport? I don't know. I guess it depends on where you're going and what you plan on doing. You know, the reason that we rented the van is so that we could bring a bunch of people and we didn't have to worry about it. You know, if we're in a taxi, we'd all be scrunched together. We might have a hard time fitting everybody in. And yeah, we probably could have, let me think here. We probably could have done it. But somebody would have been squeezed in. But with the van, you have a lot more room. You can carry a lot more people. Yeah, it just depends. It depends on where you're going and what you're trying to accomplish. Thank you very much, Radsky. You are the first. I appreciate it. Choke D to you. Choke D, choke D. Good luck. And thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Have a beer and chill. I'm chilled. I'm chilled. It's just, you know, sometimes I get on a motorcycle and, you know, I would say probably 70% of the time I am completely okay with how they drive. Another 20% I'm like, I don't know about this guy. And 10% I'm just like, this guy doesn't even need to be on the road. He shouldn't be driving. Sometimes I get on with a driver who's driving a motorcycle. Sometimes they're drunk. I can tell sometimes they're on like, you know, they're on Yaba or whatever. You can tell they're fidgeting around, you know. So, you know, it's best to hire at the airport, probably going straight to Isan. Well, I don't really know because honestly, I don't know what your situation is, but you can easily take a bus to Isan. You could take a minivan that was with other people. It depends on where you're going, where you decide you're going to go, and how you decide you really want to go. How comfortable do you want? How many bags are you bringing? All that matters. But you could take a bus and you can be pretty comfortable. I mean, really. When I went, what did I do? I think I took a bus. Yeah. I think I took a bus, and then from city to city, I took like, or maybe I took a road through. I took a minivan. And sometimes what I do in a minivan is I get 2 seats. I pay for 2 seats. So if the ticket is say 300 baht, you pay 600, but nobody can sit next to you. That way you got plenty of room, and nobody, you know, like, I mean, I've even paid for three seats. It's been cheap. It's been 100 baht, 150 baht to go somewhere. I go, listen, here's 500. Let me have the whole front row. And they can't say anything because you're paying for the seats. And then one guy tried to put other people in there. I go, no, you can't bring other people in there. I paid for these seats. They're my seats. Nobody can sit in them. And he was like, well, okay. And they ended up sitting in the back. But 2 seats, Songtao? No, that's 2 rows. I was scared first time I drove in Thailand. I had to learn real fast when I see a truck driving towards me. Yeah, I don't want to drive if I don't have to. Just not because I'm scared. Simply because I'm lazy. I would much rather just chill out, have somebody drive me who drives respectably. And I can tell you, the guy that we took to the school and who drove my kids and I and my wife, the guy was very good, very professional, very good. You pay for the gas and you pay a set rate. I mean, you know, you might pay, I think we paid 2,500, like times 3, and then my wife gave him 1,000 baht tip at the end. But if you're going to Isan, you can easily take the bus. So bus, then hire a car locally is cheaper option, I'm guessing in the $40 to $50 a day. Well, first of all, if you take the bus you have to take the bus from the nearest station, which I don't remember. It depends on where you're flying into. It might be the South Station. But a bus is relatively cheap. You could, if you want to go to certain places in Isan, you could take the train. You can always do that. And the trains are generally inexpensive. I mean, I don't know how much it is now to get a sleeper car to go to Nong Khai, but you could go all the way to Nong Khai on a train. Well, you go all the way to Udon Thani on a train, and then you take like a minivan for like 200 baht or something that takes you to Nong Khai. You have options. That's the thing. So, you know, that's why I say, you're going to come here, you're going to spend a bunch of money. You don't know exactly what you're going to do. You need somebody like me to help you out, honestly. You need somebody that can help square you away. He's very busy. He's busy typing away. It's not a matter of the car hire being risky. If you're driving in Thailand and it's your first time driving, I don't know that I would hire a car. I would rent a car the first time you're going to drive here. I don't know. I think it would be risky. Yes.
The first question I would ask is, has the driver ever driven
Yeah, here.
with a right-hand drive car? England, Japan,
Well, I would say, have you ever driven here? And if you've driven here before, okay, then the risk is a little bit less because you know what you're getting into. All right, let me see here. Yeah, but that's Japan. Japan is different from here.
drive on the same side.
That doesn't matter. What matters is think about this. Wait a minute. Wait, let me speak. The difference is that Thailand is one of the most dangerous countries in the world to drive in. End of story. That's the big difference. It's a dangerous place to drive. Not because of you, but because of how some people drive. All right, let me go on here. I got to read this stuff. Yeah, like you own your own seat. Yeah. So bus and hire. Okay, I already said that. $40, $50. I don't know how much it would cost you, but renting a car would not be all. It might be 40 or 50. That's about right. I would say you could do that, but I wouldn't recommend it right off the bat. I'd want to drive somewhere, where there's a lot of room and you have nobody around you, just to get used to driving in the country. All right, let's see here. Sakat, are there long distance hiking trails in Thailand like the US? Yes. There are. I don't know exactly how long they are, but just like with the boat, which I tried to do, you're a little bit limited. There's a whole website. I don't have the link. I can't think of the link off the top of my head right now. But there is a website that deals with all of the trails in Thailand that you can take, and yeah, but it's not so much where you're driving. It's not that you're on this side of the road or that side of the road. The difference is that in Thailand, it's dangerous to drive. Thailand used to be the most dangerous place in the world to drive. They have the most accidents. Now it's in the top 3. So that's the thing you got to consider. And you know, I know some people that rent cars, they drive and everything like that, and most of them say, yeah, it's a little bit difficult, and you can get yourself in trouble if you're not careful. Scott, you speak Thai really well. Did you take lessons or learn on your own? A long time ago, like when I first moved here, I took 20 hours, and I only made it through 10 hours because I was too busy partying. I only got 10 hours of lessons, and I didn't ever finish it. And then a couple of years later, I spoke Thai, I would say, okay, some basic Thai. And I took 20 hours, and that helped. And then from that point on, I started doing everything myself. I started learning how to read. My writing is really poor. You know, if you ask me to write some of the letters or write certain words, I could do it. But there are certain symbols that I'm not familiar with, and I don't really know how to write. So my writing is poor. My reading is pretty good. And speaking, I would say, is a little better than reading. But reading helps you to speak. It helps you when you're trying to learn how to speak. I think you should learn how to read and speak at the same time. You're used to driving it's not that you're used to driving on the same side as in the UK. Again, it's that Thailand is a lot more dangerous. Think about something. You got people that are driving around here, only thing they're used to driving is a Buffalo. And then somebody says, yeah, you can drive a car. Here, use my truck, and the guy's driving it. Or you got some guy who's hopped up on speed driving an 18-wheeler. Those are the things that are, you know, a long through hike could make for some good content. Yeah, okay, so says you. I don't, if I'm doing a hike like that, I'll probably do it on my own, and I'm not going to do it on the channel. Like I said earlier, I'm going to Europe in a few months with the wife. Hopefully it's a good place to go where I can get plenty of content. It'll be fun. We have a good time. You know, that's what my goal is. You do take a chance driving, especially a motorcycle, so I would always use a helmet. But no, it's not common. And that's another thing, and that's why, you know, these guys are driving and they go switch on the other side of the road. They're like, oh, I'll make it, don't worry. And I'm like, sometimes they're making plenty of time. There's a lot of room. Okay, no problem. But sometimes, I mean, like the time that I'm talking about, that guy was so close. It was like we literally, boom, over. And it was like we went, and then the car went past us. We barely missed getting hit. And he's like grumbling because I'm saying, dude, what are you doing? I'm like, you're crazy. Don't do that with me. And he's grumbling. And I'm like, don't grumble with me. You're the idiot, not me. You're the one who's driving like a maniac. I'm not in a hurry. You don't have to hurry up. Wait a minute. What is this? I might feel safe driving in Thailand if I owned a Ford Raptor truck. Okay, so I'm guessing more 50-year-olds still travel backpack style. I didn't know that. Thanks for the advice. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I would say 50-year-old, that's about where it's, once you hit about 60, there's a lot less. I mean, everywhere that I go, I carry one bag when I fly. That's it. And it's a carry-on. It's not check luggage. I haven't flown with check luggage in many years. It's always, I put it right up, you know, did you call him Kunba? I wouldn't call him Kunba, but I would say, you are crazy. I would say Kunba. You're a crazy person. And I don't really care what they say, you know. I mean, it's like I was saying the other day about women. It's like, oh, I want her to like me. Well, yeah, okay, you want her to like you, but if she doesn't, oh well. I mean, why would you care so much about, oh, she's got to like me? It's the same thing. I tell them you're crazy, dude. Slow down. You don't need to drive as like this. You don't need to you don't need to get crazy and almost kill me. You don't have to do that. And I'm pretty liberal about allowing them some leeway. I understand that people drive on the wrong side of the road. They sometimes drive on the sidewalk. I give them plenty of leeway. But there comes a point where you have to put your foot down and just go, hey, dude, you got to stop this. Don't drive me like that. And there's certain people, I know them from how they look or whatever, and I won't ride with them. Whenever I see them, I just go, no, I'm going to wait. I'll wait. And I wait for an extra 2 minutes and get somebody else to drive me. Because I know, well, this guy's an asshole. When he drives, this guy's a nutcase. Me and my wife used to drive to the park every morning. It's like 5:30 in the morning we'd go. And we got these guys, they were all tattooed up, and they like little skinny, like Yaba freaks. And they would go as fast as they could to get us there. And I'd be like, no, what are you doing? Slow down. I think I'd rather walk in the rain than take a motorcycle. Sometimes. Andy, what's happening? Happy New Year. You have a website with travel advice, and what is best to pack for your carry-on bag? I do have a website, an AmericanInBangkok.com. There is travel advice, but yeah, I don't know what I've got up there now. I don't know how much of the old stuff I have up there. Yeah, I don't really know how much is up there right now. I haven't been working on it lately. It's I've been doing other things. But like I said, you can always get in touch with me through my email, an AmericanInBangkok@gmail.com. I can always work something out. I can figure some things out. There's things I can do, and it's reasonable. Andy, how you doing? How's tricks? How you going, mate? Andy, thank you so much. New Year's drink on me. Oh, well, I'll be drinking at home. Probably have some wine, a couple shots of tequila. I don't know. My wife and I were talking about it. We were like, we don't go out. We don't go out really for Christmas or New Year's or like our birthday. We just don't do it. A lot of drunk people out. And so we don't usually do it. We just stay at home. And now the kid, Alex will have a little bit of wine. Nicholas will have a shot of tequila. And, we just stay at home and do it that way. Thank you very much, Andy. Choke D to you. So probably that's what's going to happen. We were talking about it and how we almost never make it to midnight now. We're usually asleep by 10, 11 o'clock. Maybe somebody's awake and they, yell, hey, wake up. Oh, yeah. Oh, 1 minute, we're counting down. And that's what the big stories are in all the papers now. It's the countdowns. Where's the countdown in your part of Thailand? Yeah, now it's kind of like, what do I need to go out for? Really, what do I need to go out for? What am I going to gain by going out? I don't need to go out and party with people I don't know. I don't need to go out and party with a big group of people. I don't need to do all that. First of all, I try to keep my wine intake to a minimum because I'm trying to stay in better shape. And actually, I'm trying to be in better shape. I'm not trying to just stay in shape. I want to be in better and better shape. So that's one thing. You know, I'll drink a little with my wife, but we're at home, very laid back. You know, I don't need to go out with a bunch of people, like, you know, go to Climax and drink and get smashed to where I can barely get home. I just don't need to do that stuff anymore. Been there, done that, you know, 100 times over. Anyway, so they're getting ready to open up here in about another 10 minutes. They're going to open the whole mall up. Yeah, can you give me an idea of what you do as a travel service to make a 4-week holiday easier? What I do as a travel service. Well, first of all, I don't think you really have a clue, aside from Isan, of what you want to do and where you want to go. I think that's the first thing. You need to narrow it down to what do you want? What do you feel like doing? You want to party? You want to see temples? What do you want to do? Yeah, you want to go on hikes? I mean, I think you got to narrow it down first. You know, maybe one week you do this, another week you're down in the islands, then another week you're in the mountains, you know, in Chiang Mai or whatever. I don't know. But 4 weeks is a fairly long time. But I can tell you this, you're going to spend a bundle for 4 weeks. Most people, they're not going to spend, you know, $500 for 4 weeks. It's not going to happen. Most people don't do that nowadays. At least not the people that I know. They're going to, you know, they may be smart with their money, but they're going to spend some money. So spending $50 or $100 to save on the money that you might spend is pretty much worth it. But, you know, that's the first thing you need to do, is to figure out exactly what do you want to do. You want to go to the beach and then go to the mountains? You want to not go to the beach? What do you want to go scuba diving? What do you want to do? You want to go and party? You want to go to Samui and party your ass off for a week? You want to go to, you know, Pattaya, stay there? I mean, most people go to Pattaya, they go there for at least 3-4 days, maybe a week. For me, that's about it. I went for 5 days a month ago. I went for 5 days, and you know, that was enough time for me. We had fun. We had a good time. And we wanted to go do it. Actually, Jack wanted to do a couple of things, and we never really got around to doing them because we were too lazy. You'll be in Thailand in March. Okay. Cool. You going anywhere before there? Or do you know? We had a big Christmas, 2 days with family and friends, just cleaning up the house now. Yeah, we had a pretty big Christmas for us. I mean, we didn't get a Christmas tree or anything like that, but we did have some really good food. We had crab cakes. My wife bought a kilogram of crab, and I think it's all gone now. We ate it all. Crab cakes, crab omelets, crab. It was great. Yeah, Alex is doing well. He's very happy. I don't think he knows how important that piece of paper is to him. I think he knows, but he doesn't really know. So, I think Let's see. Monday is the 1st. I think on the 2nd, I think next week he'll really start trying to find a job, you know, to where it's his job to find a job. But he's already put in for a couple of places. Fish dinner. We had salmon last night. I've done the South and Islands and West. This time's probably Northeast. Rural, only raw, true raw Thailand. Well, I don't know, but I would say true Thailand, because if you go in certain places in the South, in the West, you're gonna find true Thailand. Raw Thailand, like as in, you know, as in Isan, like what you're talking about. Well, what are you gonna do there? You gotta find places, you got stuff to do. Like I said, Bangkok, that's a huge province. And you could either rent a car or you could just get a driver for the day. That's what I did. I don't want to rent a car because I got to worry about crashing it. I got to think about driving. I don't want to do all that. Just get the guy. He knows where to go. You pay him whatever he wants. He drives you around. You go on these trips. And like in Bangkok, there was 3 or 4 things that I did. And there were many more that I wanted to do. Well, there are a couple more at least. But you know, I went to the Three Whales Rock. I went to the what is it, Wat Putong. I did a whole bunch of stuff there. It was really a nice. I really liked that place. Yeah, going to Nepal and India and maybe Dubai in February. Oh, I like Nepal a lot. I don't care about Dubai. I don't really care about India. Alex being bilingual and having that diploma, he can get a very good job in hotel management for an international company. Up to him. Yeah, I know, he knows. And like what Richard was saying, I'd like to get him into the embassy. I'd really like him to get a job at the embassy. I think he's the kind of guy, you know, he'll just do what he's told. He won't complain. And I think he could work his way up. I think he could do pretty well. I don't know. I mean, you know, that's just what I think. And I think if he wanted, he could travel around. You know, the sky's the limit for him. I don't know, but he knows that. But I'm trying to get it through to him. So, looking at flights today, no cheap flights anymore. Yeah, I mean, I looked at flights to Europe, and whether you're taking one way from one place and then one way from another place back, or you're doing a round trip, they start out, for the flights that I'm looking for, they start out at maybe, if you're lucky, 24,000, 25,000 baht. And there's very few flights at that price. They're more around 30,000, which is, you know, $870, $900, something like that. And then, you know, for $1,000, say 35,000 baht, you can pretty much fly wherever you want in Europe. So I'm not sure what we're gonna do, but that's what we plan on doing. We want to go to Europe. That's it. One word, Europe. We will not be going anywhere in Asia. As per Tom, we won't be going to any of the stands.
Go to Argentina. It's a great place.
Again, Europe. One word, Europe. Nobody wants to go to Argentina. Not now. Why would we go to Argentina from here? We'd have to be in the United States, then maybe we go to Argentina.
Did you know-
But we're not going to the United States,
you
we're
know
going
that-
Europe.
There used to be a flight from Bangkok to Sydney, directly under the South Pole to Argentina.
I did not know that.
There used to be.
Now I
It's
know
not
that.
now.
Now I know that. I'm so lucky. So lucky. I know that if I wanted to, I could fly to Argentina.
If you could go back in time, you could catch that flight.
Anyway, let me go on here. I can't talk to Tom because he wants to do things outside of the box where nobody wants to go. And I try to tell him, whatever. Shut up. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I'm not going to Argentina. Jesus Christ. Unless you go cheapo airlines with 2 stops and yeah. I don't want to, we did that when we went on our trip earlier this year where we went to Ireland and Dubai and Portugal and Amsterdam. We did that. And we made it through, although we had to buy a couple of new tickets coming back. So we paid more anyway. We don't want to do that again. I'm not making those mistakes. I'm not taking, some Chinese airline that's going to go to Shanghai or go to Hong Kong and then Shanghai and then some other place in China and then you're going to go where you want to. I don't want to do that. I just want to take a flight and it's direct or there's one stop. And I found those and that's the only thing we're considering. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Ugh. You're a real comedian there, Gennaro. Where is Mr. The Korean? Where is he? It's 11 o'clock. He can't be sleeping. I don't know. He might be. The Korean will be going back home at the end of January. I think January 21st is what he told me. He's going back home to spend a couple of months with his dog and get some things ironed out, and then he'll be coming back here for good. So we'll see what happens. I thought he was here for good, but no, he's not. We'll see. Anyway. Yeah, one stop is the max. I do not want to fly where you're doing 2 or 3 stops. It's just ridiculous. And I looked at some of the things. It's like, all right, you want to go from say here to Budapest. You can get there in about 14 hours, or you can get there in 21 hours. Now, who wants to fly an extra 7 hours? Who wants to do that? I don't want to do that. I don't want to fly for 21 hours. Well, he's not bailing out, so he says he's not bailing out. He just wants to go back, and he's considering bringing his dog over here because he feels bad about that. And then he's got a couple other things he needs to square away, and then that's it. I don't think he'll end up living in the United States. I don't think he wants to do that or can do that, or I just don't think that's going to happen. I think he's situated to come back here. Well, you fly business class. You can have that option. You can fly first class if you really want. Anyway, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for conversing with me. That's the idea of these streams, is that we carry on conversations and there's an interaction between us, for better or for worse. I appreciate that. So thank you very much. Good deal. Thank you to everybody. Radsky, thank you. Thank you to Andy. Appreciate it. Thank you very much for the donations. I appreciate them. Yes, Happy New Year. I will be in touch on New Year's Eve day. I don't know, maybe it'll be New Year's Eve, I don't know, but probably New Year's Eve day, which is, in another 2 days. So, oh, your tie is just getting so good, Gennaro. Oh my God. Ta-ta. That's what they say in Burma. Ta-ta. Ta-ta. All right, anyway. Till next time, I'm Scott. I'm an American in Bangkok. Thank you very much for joining me. I will talk to you later. Choke, Leo, jerk, and my, that's good luck, and see you later.